All right, today we are digging into some absolutely incredible footage. It comes from a pilot captured on his own camera, and it shows an object that just, well, it seems to defy the laws of physics. He was just out for a normal flight, and then this happened. The best part? His high-res camera was rolling the whole time. So let's get right into it.
Yes, something passed beneath me very fast. That's what he said right in the moment, radioing down to the ground. You can just feel the confusion, right? Just this split-second thing. And at the time, he had no idea that this tiny little moment was going to kick off a massive personal investigation into something that, frankly, he still can't explain.
So how does a totally normal flight turn into something else entirely? Well, it all starts on what should have been a super straightforward day for this pilot, flying over this incredible ancient landscape.
Okay, let's get the details down. So who are we talking about? An experienced paramotorist. This is his hobby. He knows what he's doing. Where is he? He's flying over the ancient Ranikote Fort in Sindh. I mean, this place is massive. It's out in the middle of nowhere. And when did this happen? November 1st, 2025, right around 4:20 in the afternoon. You know, he picked that time on purpose for those perfect calm winds you get just before the sun goes down.
So what was he flying with? Well, pretty standard stuff. A paramotor glider, radio to talk to the ground. But here's the kicker. He had a GoPro strapped to his helmet, and this is super important, it was recording in 5K at 30 frames per second. That little technical detail, it's about to become the single most important piece of this entire puzzle.
So now let's get to the moment it all happened. He's up in the air, the weather is perfect, just beautiful. And he makes this split-second decision to fly into the inner valley of the fort, a spot he usually stays away from.
So he's cruising at about 1,400 feet. The air is totally calm. He described it as just smooth, buttery even. Everything is just normal. And then, in a blink, it's not. And this is the actual radio call from that exact moment. You can hear him trying to process it in real time. No, a small thing passed by. His first thought is danger, right? A drone maybe? That could take him down. But it was so fast, he immediately tries to find a logical explanation. Must have been a bird. I mean, what else could it possibly be, moving that fast?
So yeah, he was definitely startled, but it happened so fast, like a fraction of a second, that he just kind of shook it off. He put it out of his head, finished up his flight, and thought, I'll check the tape later. You know, just to see what kind of weird bird that was. No big deal.
And folks, this is where the story takes a hard left turn. Because when he gets home and pulls up that video file, it wasn't a bird, it wasn't a drone. What he found was something, well, something he calls an impossible object.
So he didn't just guess, he got methodical. First, he scrubs the video to find that exact instant. Then he slows it way down, by like 90%. And there it is, a white streak. So what does he do? He freezes it. He isolates the object in a single frame, and then in the very next one to see how far it moved.
Now remember that GoPro setting? 30 frames per second? This is where it gets crazy. The time between any two frames is just 0.033 seconds. It's nothing. And in that tiny slice of time, he used Google Earth to measure the distance. The object traveled 120 meters in 1/33 of a second. So you run the numbers on that, and you get this, 3,600 meters per second. Let that sink in. That's 3.6 kilometers every single second. I mean, the number is so big it almost doesn't make sense, right? You need to compare it to something.
So let's try. Look at this. The fastest bird in the world, the peregrine falcon, it dives at 88 meters per second. Not even close. A Boeing 747, 277. Okay, what about the fastest jet we've ever built, the legendary SR-71 Blackbird? It tops out at 1,200 meters per second. This thing was going 3 times faster than that. And not up in space, but down low, in the atmosphere.
Now the pilot thought the same thing you're probably thinking. No way, I must have screwed up the math. So he tried a different way to calculate it. This time he tracked the object across the entire valley, a distance of 2 kilometers. It crossed that whole distance in just 16 frames of video. And the speed he got? 3,750 meters per second. It was basically the exact same number. That's when he knew his first calculation was right.
Okay, so the speed is unbelievable. But honestly, that's not even the weirdest part. The way this thing behaved, it just seems to break the rules of physics as we know them, especially down here in the thick air of our atmosphere.
Get this. As he's scrubbing through the footage, he finds another pass, just moments after the first one, and this one was way closer to him.
So close, in fact, that he never even saw it with his own eyes. It was moving too fast for his brain to even register. All the camera caught was a white blur that lasted for just 3 frames.
So you have to ask, right? How is that even possible? How can anything move that fast, that low to the ground, and just nothing happens? This is where we start running into some major paradoxes.
Let's just list them out because it's pretty mind-bending. 1. We're talking Mach 10.5 speed here. That's over 10 times the speed of sound. Anything moving that fast should create a sonic boom that would shatter your eardrums. But there was total silence. 2. The air disturbance. It should have created a massive shockwave, a wake that would have ripped his glider to shreds. But he felt nothing. His glider was completely stable. And 3. It's basically invisible. As that second pass proved, it moves too fast for our eyes to even see it when it's right there.
And here's the thing. This pilot, he's not alone. Once he started digging around, he realized this wasn't some one-off fluke. Other people in other parts of the world have caught almost the exact same thing on camera.
Take a look at this. Back in 2016, a drone in Utah filmed a really similar fast-moving white object. Forensic experts got a hold of it, and guess what they found? Yep, it was moving at about 10 times the speed of sound. Then there's another drone video, this one from the UK, that shows a nearly identical white streak. So, you see, these aren't just one-off weird events. This is a pattern.
And this pattern, it plugs right into a much bigger story that's been unfolding for decades. You know, it really goes back to 2004 with the Navy pilots and the famous Tic Tac encounter. That whole thing eventually led to the Pentagon creating its own UAP Investigation Office, ARO, and today they're tracking hundreds of these sightings. But what makes this Reinecott case so important, so powerful, is that it's not from the military. It's a civilian. It's just a regular guy with a GoPro, and he captured this crystal clear, high-res data. It's like a crucial independent piece of this massive global puzzle.
Which really brings us back to the pilot himself and where he landed on all this. After all the analysis, all the math, checking and rechecking his own work, he came to this one simple, powerful conclusion. He still has no idea what it was, but he knows it was real. His eyes saw it, his camera recorded it. Whatever this is, he said, it's at least not my delusion.
And so that's where we're left, with a huge question mark. We've got multiple, totally credible videos from different people in different places, all showing these things that move in ways that, well, they just shouldn't be possible according to our current understanding of physics. So the question we have to ask ourselves is, what are these objects in our skies?